Hello, my name is Tea Palela and I will show you how to knit knitted knockers using double-sided needles. I am a volunteer knitter, however I have adopted 2 hospitals in my area, so I also stuff them, package them, and deliver them. I'm not affiliated with Knitted Knockers, like I said, just a volunteer knitter. So, let's go. I've seen a lot of people asking in the Facebook group, how do you do the knitted knocker with double pointed needles? So I figured I'd do a little quick condensed video of how I do this. I actually put a label on the end of my yarn with which yarn I'm using and the size, so that later I don't mix up which one is which and which pair belongs to which. So I'm going to leave a longer tail, it's easy to cut it off. And I'm going to start by casting on stitches. So that's 5. Take the next needle and continue the cast on. Next needle. All right, now we have 15 stitches. We're gonna do the awkward first two or three rows, and I will show you how I don't count and can determine if I increased at the beginning on the last row or if I have not. So this first row, we increase only at the end of the row. 3, 4, 5, great, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It gets easier the more you do. So now we're on the second row. We're going to increase at the beginning and at the end. Also, after the first stitch, the first 2 or 3 stitches, I pull a little tighter so that there's no gap once they're stuffed. And as you may have noticed, I also don't have a stitch marker marking beginning of round because I used the tail from the cast on to see where the beginning of round is. See where my tail cast on is? That's my first needle, so no stitch marker. All right, so this is now a row with increase at the end. All right, so it's still hard to see, but on about every other row, you're gonna have this, I call it a minus. That is the row that I had increased at the beginning. So this row we did not increase, which means this upcoming row we have to increase again. when you have a little more rows, that's easier to spot. But if I forget which row I was on, I just look at the previous row. If I see the minus, then I just increased. If I don't see a minus, then I increase the row before, and it's time to increase again. So maybe we'll see it already better after this row. All right, so let's look. I hope you can see this. There's this little stitch, the little minus. That means we just increased. So this row, we're not going to increase at the beginning. Please use only approved yarns. You can download the list, I think, on the knittedknockers.org website. This is Cascade Ultra Pima, and it works really well. Kubu is great too. Splits easily, but you'll get used to it. So I will continue on, and I will continue the recording one row before the turning rows. Okay, here we are, one row before. I have completed the 2 purl turning rows and one row after that where I knit together the last 2 stitches. So I will do 1 or 2 rows now and then pause again until we're almost at the end. So at this point we decrease in every round. We knit together the last 2 stitches. It's one of the ways to do it. Works really well for me. So just knit to the end and then knit last 2 together. And I pull this a little stronger too, again, so that there's no gap. So we'll continue doing this until there are 2 stitches left on each needle. So this was now 1 full row. And again, you know, if I have to take a break or when I come back, I can always look where my tail on, cast on tail is. And I know that that's the beginning of the round. So I will see you when we have 3 stitches left on needles. I'm just about to start the last row of this knocker, and I pull nice and tight as I knit this. I've been recording all these awkward rows, the fun stuff you never get to see. All right, so I'm going to cut this about, I don't know, 10 inches, 6, 8, something like that. And finish this. 1, 2. One, 2. And 1, 2. All right, this is how I do this. Stick my finger here, and I make sure that I go through the middle here and pull it through. And now I pull this out so I can actually see it. And I go once through, and I go one more time and make a double knot here. Pull tight, and I cut about 2 inches with a 2 inches tail. So now we go on the other side where the tail is. I'm going to cut this off. All right, thread it. And I will go here through every other loop so that we can pull it tight once it's stuffed. So once all around. And one more time here. And voila. This is a knitted knocker. This is a stuffed knitted knocker. So now we're gonna stuff this knocker. Again, I'm just a volunteer knitter. This is how I figured it's done. From watching other videos, I'm just trying to make this video a condensed version of it because I know people don't have much patience or time and they would rather be knitting. So I have a little chart here with the weight of knitted knockers before stuffing and after stuffing. And this is just pretty much for me so that I can make sure I make them equal. I don't know if this weight is correct, but I read somewhere to rather overstuff them than understuff them because it's easy to pull some of the stuffing out. And I like being consistent. So I've stuffed enough of those that I know I gotta go. I got ways to go. Let's see, a little more, I think. We'll check with the scale. So this is my chart. According to my chart, this is Cascade Ultra Pima, size 8, 13 grams empty, 36 grams stuffed. Let's check the first one. It's 35, 36, 32, so we gotta go a little more. It's, like I said, easy to remove the stuffing. I think a little more. Okay, let's see now. This is not very accurate on my lap. $35. Okay, this would make it $36. All right. Perfect. So now we pull here. I wind this around my finger. Actually, what I do, I usually compare them to make sure they're the same length for a pair. I push this in, and it's ready to go. So I prepared some baggies. Now, you know, if you're shipping this to the Knitted Knockers headquarters, you don't have to stuff them. But I have adopted 2 clinics in my area, and I bring them stuffed knockers. I got these bags on Amazon, little labels, printed little labels, just put a little charm. Nothing you have to do. I just thought it's kind of nice. So and there we have it. A pair of knitted knockers. Thank you.